to throw that right out of the window when it's black or as brown people who exercise their First Amendment rights to free speech or peaceable assembly. So we need to continue this important oversight work, which is why today Rep. Jonathan Jackson and I are introducing the COINTELPRO Full Disclosure Act. This bill will require the public disclosure of all COINTELPRO records and establish a review board to ensure compliance.
Hey everybody, this is Dean FM, Dean Fraser Milford here for your creature. What? And today, to do another reaction video. This one's going to be to somebody demands answers from Secretary Noem about federal government surveillance of anti-ICE protesters, y'all. It's a very scary time. Surveil the damn ICE. Make them wear body cameras. Shut the hell up. Leave the protesters alone. You all don't know what the meaning of protest means. I guess so January 6th, I guess, never have protests are okay. Violent protests are okay.
I asked unanimous consent for Representative Tlaib of Michigan to be waived onto the task force for today's hearing for the purpose of asking questions.
We got
no objection. Without objection, so ordered.
Oh.
I now recognize Representative Lee for 5 minutes.
I love somebody. Yay! I love somebody.
Wasn't expecting that. But thank you so much, Madam Chair. I think the thing that we need to remember during this hearing is that these files wouldn't even exist if the federal government had not abused its surveillance powers and gone after private citizens like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The FBI ruthlessly and persistently surveilled Dr. King and his family, even in their own home and without any kind of warrant. It is only thanks to the work of journalists and government investigators of the 60s and the 70s that we know that the FBI weaponized its COINTELPRO program to spy on, to harass, and to intimidate Dr. King and many other civil rights leaders and figures. In 76, the Senate Church Committee found that the FBI used COINTELPRO to go after civil rights groups who were fighting for integration and enfranchisement.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Mr. Hamadanchi, the FBI didn't just surveil, collect information, did they? Can you tell us how the FBI weaponized this information against Dr. King and other civil rights leaders?
They were trying to politically smear these leaders because they were trying to discredit the civil rights movement. And so they were trying to create accusations against them that would do that. And the most important thing to note that pretty much anyone that was surveilled under COINTELPRO was never actually charged with a crime.
Of course. What?
And did these types of tactics stop after the Church Committee's findings?
The Church Committee findings were, at the time, pretty groundbreaking, and the reforms that we put into place did work in the aftermath.
I'm not comfortable with
that was
it.
50 years ago, and things have changed a lot like that, and those oversight structures are no longer good.
Yeah.
Thank you. In fact, there's even more ways that the federal government can exploit laws now to surveil private citizens.
Far more ways.
Post 9/11, of course, a number of new laws gave the government a whole slew of tools to do the same thing in the name of national security. We saw these tactics used against Black Lives Matter protesters. We saw them used against student protesters supporting a ceasefire in Gaza. Now we're seeing it used against anti-ICE protesters. Federal government is also using AI and spyware to better surveil private citizens, which is why I demanded answers from Secretary Noem on ICE's contract with the spyware company whose surveillance product has the ability to access people's cell phone data without their knowledge or their consent. The Fourth Amendment protects people in this country from unreasonable searches and seizures. Yet for decades, the federal government seems to throw that right out of the window when it's black or as brown people who exercise their First Amendment rights to free speech or peaceable assembly. Time and time again, these movements are portrayed as terrorists or violent rioters or simply anti or un-American. Antifa. All to give the federal government the excuse that their unlawful actions are in the interests of national security. So the federal government can't be allowed to violate people's rights under the cover of darkness. We wouldn't even know about the federal government's actions against Dr. King or the COINTELPRO operation if it wasn't for strong oversight. So we need to continue this important oversight work, which is why today Rep. Jonathan Jackson and I are introducing the COINTELPRO Full Disclosure Act. This bill will require the public disclosure of all COINTELPRO records and establish a review board to ensure compliance. So, Madam Chair, I invite you and, of course, the rest of our colleagues to join me in this effort. And I think in an attempt to ensure that there is no government overreach on private citizens, I would love if we could have your support for that.
I
I'll
get
take
a
a look
one
at it. I don't
chance.
have any objections.
Thank you. We
And
will.
that, my dear, was reacting to somebody demands answers from Secretary Noem about federal government surveillance of anti-ICE protesters. This is the thing. When you go to these protests, make sure that you cover your face. You know, they be going up, scanning people, and doing all this type of thing. What do you
It's not illegal to record.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Why are you taking my information down?
Because we have a nice little database.
Oh, good.
And now you're considered a domestic terrorist. So
We're videotaping you?
You name me. No. Make sure that you mask and make sure to cover your eyes too, because the phone, even the phone, they can do like the mask version of the face scan. Hide your identity well.
because we have a nice little database.
Identity advice. You all do what you want to do. I'm not here to tell you what to shame anybody or shame any method of protest. But if you want to go there, please make sure to just be nonviolent. You can be peaceful, but not peaceful. Just make sure that you don't get caught up with the public disturbance. There's a whole lot of ways that they can take us down as individuals. So just make sure, especially if you are in a marginalized community, you might need to take more care and to take more hesitation and these type of things. Just radically, here's some time for people who are not as marginalized to step up. And that's my opinion. Have a nice day. I'll talk to you later. Bye.